Come tomorrow, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
Who cares what you think? You are not my father!
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most devastating TV scenes we still haven't gotten over. Fair warning, this list is riddled with spoilers.
But I've had more good days with you than with anyone else. Just give me one more good day.
Number 20, Paul's death. 8 simple rules. A character's death can be a really hard plot development to get right. The makers of 8 Simple Rules didn't really have a choice. When original star John Ritter passed away in the middle of the sitcom's 2nd season, his character, columnist Paul Hennessy, followed suit. His wife, played by Katie Segal, received the news that changes their lives forever.
Katie, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Ooh, you're such a good man, a good husband, good father.
Oh, he was. He was.
The show's subsequent handling of Paul's death became a tragic mirror for what his on-screen family and fans were feeling in the aftermath of Ritter's passing. The family's usual laugh-a-minute jokes are replaced by a somber tone and constant reminders of Paul's absence.
And it's the knowledge that my wife and kids love me that makes it safe for me to wear pajamas and black socks to the breakfast table.
Oh my God. Dad, thank you.
Number 19, Sarah Lynn's death. BoJack Horseman. In an alternate version of Hollywood filled with humans and anthropomorphized animals, washed-up former TV star BoJack Horseman is constantly screwing up. One of his lowest points is when he goes on a bender with former child star Sarah Lynn.
I could never figure out what love meant. But right now, I don't need to figure out anything. I just feel it. I love you, Sarah Lynn. Sarah Lynn? Sarah Lynn?
What?
Oh my God, thank God you're okay.
The two end up at Griffith Observatory, where Sarah passes away tragically as a result of their hard partying. The screen goes black, with BoJack helplessly repeating her name to no avail. It's yet another reminder that this show, animated though it may be, does not play around when it comes to sensitive subjects and real-life tragedy.
This moment, this one spectacular moment we are sharing together. Right, Sarah Lynn?
Number 18, Fleabag leaves. Fleabag. Wait, did we just get broken up with? Bittersweet is the word here. Yes, Fleabag will probably get over her agonizing, all-encompassing crush on the priest, but more importantly, she's gotten over us.
I love you too.
Fleabag has spent 2 seasons using the camera as her personal confessional, where she spills some vulnerable secrets but is always stepping out of her own life. The moment the series ends, there's a sense that she's finally learned to stay present in her own life. To do it, she has to say goodbye to us. It's a pitch-perfect ending to a show that always surprised us.
It wasn't very hard. I spent all this time trying to figure out why.
Number 17, If I Die Young. Glee. The Quarterback will go down in history as one of the single saddest episodes of television ever produced. Glee star Corey Monteith's premature death was truly shocking. This season 5 episode, dedicated to his character, football player Finn Hudson, is a wall-to-wall tearjerker. Most shockingly painful is the moment when cheerleader Santana Lopez sings the band Perry's If I Die Young to pay tribute to Monteith's character.
I know that Finn had his doubts about God, but I am convinced that Squishy Teats is up in heaven right now, plopped down next to his new best friend Fat Elvis, helping themselves to a picnic of baby back ribs smothered in butterscotch pudding and tater tot grease. So, this is for you, Hudson.
Actress Naya Rivera's chill-inducing cover ends with the performer in tears. Many fans find it even more heartbreaking in retrospect, as Rivera would pass away just a few years later.
Take me in the river at dawn. Send me away with the words of a love song. Oh,
Number Number 16, Pusey's Death. Orange is the new black. Near the end of season 4, a group of guards disrupt a peaceful protest in the cafeteria, and things take a turn for the deadly. Pusey Washington, a beloved inmate, is subdued and ultimately suffocated to death in a show of excessive force.
Just let me talk to her!
Her death is a chilling reflection of real-world brutality. Watching her friend's reaction to losing her and the inevitable havoc it brings to the prison closes out the 4th season in an uncharacteristically bleak way. The denizens of Litchfield Penitentiary could sometimes fool us into thinking things aren't so bad inside. Unfortunately, Pusey's fate is an example of just how desperate their circumstances can get.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm so sick of people saying that, man, my loss. Like it was my 100-year-old granny who kicked it. Or like it was some tragic accident instead of cold-blooded murder.
Number 15, Dennys Death. Grey's Anatomy. Every single storyline of the barn-burning 2nd season of the Shonda Rhimes medical drama comes to a head in its harrowing season finale. Love is alive at Seattle Grace Hospital, while it hosts an impromptu senior prom for Dr. Webber's ill niece. Amid all the tinsel and magic, the love story between Dr. Izzy Stevens and heart transplant recipient Denny Duquette comes to an abrupt end.
And now he's going to the morgue. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that the most ridiculous piece of crap you've ever heard?
The scene where her fellow doctors find Izzy lying in the deceased patient's arms is overwhelming to say the least. Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars fades in on the soundtrack, and Alex Karev carries the weeping Izzy away in his arms. It became a defining moment of the show. Number 14, Hodors Fate. Game of Thrones. He was a man of few words. However, the reason for his one word becomes so painfully clear in the season 6 episode, aptly named The Door. This whole time, Hodor was actually saying, "Hold the door." We learn that Bran Stark's disruption of time and space traumatized the young Hodor, giving him an image of his death.
Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door!
The consequences of this come to pass in The Door. Hodor's name takes on a deeply disturbing meaning as he holds the door to the hideout closed while White Walkers invade.
Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door!
The Red Wedding gets an honourable mention for the shock factor, but Hodor's loyalty earns Game of Thrones a spot on this list. Number 13, Mr. Feeney's Goodbye. Boy Meets World. For years, teacher George Feeney was watched with equal parts irritation and amusement as Corey and Eric Matthews and their friends have gotten into one adolescent mess after another. In the series finale, his students enter adulthood and their time together finally comes to an end. He gives the kids one last speech about doing good.
Believe in yourselves. Dream. Try. Do good.
Don't you mean do well?
No, I mean do good.
The moment brings out a lot of uncharacteristic sentiment from the veteran teacher. He manages to withstand their hugs and tears. Of course, he waits until they're out of the room to tell them he loves them. He is a professional until the end.
I love you all. Class dismissed.
Number 12, Ben's Funeral. Scrubs.
There's one more thing you have to do for me.
You can't keep me from getting drunk.
You have to forgive yourself for everything that went down the other day.
Don't let the comedy fool you. When Scrubs really dug into the hospital setting, it could be as sad as any medical drama. When Dr. Cox loses it, it's kind of like watching your dad cry. One fan favourite episode that sees him lose 3 transplant patients was rough.
Remember what you told me? The second you start blaming yourself for people's deaths, there's no coming back.
Yeah. You're right.
But in this legendary season 3 episode, the usually stoic Dr. Cox is concerned with his beloved brother-in-law Ben's chronic illness. However, in the last scene, we realise Cox's conversations with Ben have been imaginary, and he's actually at his funeral. Ben passed away during the events of the episode.
But in the end, the most important thing to accept is that no matter how alone you feel, how painful it may be, with the help of those around you, you'll get through this too.
Number 11, My Baby's Gone. The Golden Girls. The most heartbreaking moments are usually the ones when characters we think of as strong are overcome with emotion. Sophia Petrillo doesn't show her emotions very often, but she adores her children. One of the wisecracking Sicilian mother's running jokes involved comments on her unseen son Phil's love of dressing in traditionally feminine clothing.
The dress thing? Why didn't she stop the dress thing?
He's been doing that all his life. That didn't start with me.
Oh. So it's my fault.
But when Phil dies off-screen in season 6, she's forced to confront her confusion about his love of cross-dressing. She directs her pain towards Phil's widow before ultimately breaking down and finally allowing herself to grieve.
Let go of the shame. So what if he was different? It's okay that you loved him.
For a character who wasn't seen, Phil's death was a true tearjerker.
What he was, Sophia, was a good man. My baby is gone. Oh, Sophia.
Number 10, Chitty exits. The Good Place. This afterlife sitcom managed to find new ways to reinvent itself as its characters achieved new levels of higher consciousness. But they're still human after all. The characters must prove themselves ready to end their time in the universe one by one. But the hardest transition occurs when Chitty and Eleanor spend their last night together.
I proposed a rule. The Chittys shouldn't be allowed to leave, because it would make Eleanor sad. And I could do this forever. Zip you around the universe, showing you cool stuff. And I'd still never find the justification for getting you to stay.
He's struggled for so long with indecision. To see him make the ultimate choice with confidence and certainty is a beautiful thing. The complete serenity of the moment makes it all the more affecting.
Sunlight refracts when it passes through, and it's there, and you can see it, you know what it is, it's a wave. And then it crashes on the shore, and it's gone. But the water is still there.
Eleanor makes her peace with Chitty's leaving, but we are not okay. Number 9, Michael Scott's last day. The Office. According to a lot of fans, Dunder Mifflin should have shuttered for good when its long-standing, lovably awkward regional manager left in season 7.
And then tomorrow, I can tell you what a great boss you turned out to be. Best boss I ever had.
Michael Scott started out as the kind of boss that you love to hate. By the time he leaves for Colorado with his new wife, he's endeared himself to everyone in the office, including receptionist Pam Halpert. Missing his goodbye at work, Pam chases him down at the airport. The two share a very personal goodbye. In fact, it's one of the show's few truly private conversations.
No, he wasn't sad. He was full of hope about Colorado, and he was hoping to get an upgrade as an awards member. And he said he was just real excited to get home and see Holly.
Many viewers and critics wondered why the episode wasn't the series finale. Considering how appropriate a send-off it is, it's a valid question. Number 8, Buffy's Mom Dies. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Watching Buffy Summers come home to find her mother's body is a scene that would be horrifying in any context.
What are you doing? Mom? Mom? Mommy?
Buffy's discovery of her death and her attempts to save her play out in real time. In seconds, the mighty Slayer is reduced to a scared child. Her conversation with the 911 operator is chilling.
She's cold.
The body is cold?
No, my mom. Should I make her warm?
No, if she's not responding to the CPR, best thing is to wait for the paramedics, okay?
When will they be here?
They're very nearby.
Buffy realizes there's nothing anyone can do to make this better. The entire episode is designed to throw us off kilter.
No, it's too late.
Joyce?
They're coming for her. No,
Joyce!
we're not supposed to move the body.
With all the undead creatures, portal openings, and freak accidents that populate the Buffyverse, a death by natural causes almost feels supernatural in itself. Number 7, Henry Blake's death. MASH. Although MASH had serious moments in its early days, it tackled more and more dramatic subject matter as it progressed. One example is when co-lead McLean Stevenson left the show in season 3.
Behave yourself or I'm gonna come back and kick your butt.
His character, Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, has been discharged and is on his way home when the surgeons receive the news that his helicopter was shot down by the enemy. They take a moment to digest the information before going back to the surgery they're performing. It's a sobering moment that left millions of viewers shocked.
Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors.
Yes, it's a war show, but this moment really brought home just how much was at stake for the characters. Number 6, final montage, 6 Feet Under.
Can't take a picture of this, it's already gone.
HBO's celebrated drama about the Fishers, a family who owns and operates a funeral home, is a show that's predictably preoccupied with death. But even after 5 seasons of characters dying, the final moments of the series is an awe-inspiring montage of the major characters' future demise. As Claire Fisher drives off to her new life in New York, we are shown each member of the family at the moment of their death. Like the series, their deaths are not as tragic as they are contemplative and inevitable, but that doesn't make them any less painful. These final glimpses into the future are breathtaking in their scope and power, cementing the show as an all-time classic. Number 5, Will's dad leaves again. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith's leading character was a generally goofy, fun-loving teenager. When his absent father came back into his life, Will's aunt and uncle were skeptical about his commitment, and they had every right to be. When Will's dad once again breezes out of his life, it's the final straw.
It was great seeing you, son. You too, Lou.
Left alone with Uncle Phil, Will tries to hide his hurt with humor and rage.
Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
In the end, all he can do is weep over the father who doesn't want him. The scene is so powerful that it renders the studio audience pin-drop silent.
I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
The episode doesn't give us a chance to breathe, foregoing the standard blooper reel at the end of many episodes. Number 4, Marshall's dad dies. How I Met Your Mother. A TV death that comes out of nowhere can turn fans against a show, but when it's done properly, a character's sudden death can mirror real life. Marshall and Lily are struggling to conceive a child.
So now I'm just scared that we won't be able to give you a grandchild.
Oh, Marshall, we don't care about that one bit. And if you guys want kids, there are other ways.
Later in the same episode, Marshall receives good news from the fertility specialist, only for Lily to arrive and tell him his father suffered a fatal heart attack.
Something's happened. Your father, he had a heart attack. He didn't make it.
My dad said?
The episode ends as the two sob in each other's arms. To ensure a genuinely shocked reaction, this twist ending was kept from actor Jason Segel until the cameras were rolling.
I'm not ready for this.
Number 3, Bill and Frank's Last Days, The Last of Us. In a largely standalone episode of the post-apocalyptic HBO series, a survivalist named Bill is found by a traveller, Frank. Over time, the two fall in love and live out their days in relative happiness despite all of the zombies.
I'm sorry. For what? Getting older faster than you.
I like you older. Older means we're still here.
Frank experiences a deteriorating quality of life due to a degenerative disease, and Bill, unwilling to go on without the man that he loves, arranges for their deaths.
I do not support this. I should be furious. But from an objective point of view, it's incredibly romantic.
They spend a last day together, one final meal, and go to bed together one final time. Their final moments are the climax to an unbearably moving hour of TV. Number 2, Mr. Hooper's Death. Sesame Street. Since 1969, the citizens of Sesame Street have been teaching kids how to be citizens of the world. Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch existed alongside human characters like Mr. Hooper, the generous owner of the general store. But when performer Will Lee passed away in 1982, Sesame Street decided to use the moment as a very real lesson on the death of a loved one.
And we can remember him and remember him and remember him, much as we want to. But I don't like it. It makes me sad.
As informative as it is heartbreaking, the scene where the human characters explain Mr. Hooper's death to Big Bird may have been the first time many children learned about death.
Big Bird, it has to be this way because.
Just because?
Big Bird's childlike naivete is just as hard to watch decades later.
I'm gonna miss you, Mr. Looper.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, The Fate of Seymour, Futurama. This animated sitcom follows Fry, a 20th century pizza delivery boy who is frozen in time and awakes 1,000 years in the future. He finds the fossilized remains of his dog Seymour in a museum and plans to revive him using DNA cloning. Fry abandons the plan, thinking Seymour probably forgot about him. But in the most cursed, traumatizing, and tear-inducing flashback in the history of TV, we learn that isn't the case.
I had Seymour till he was 3. That's when I knew him, and that's when I loved him. I'll never forget him, but he forgot me a long, long time ago.
Seymour obeyed Fry's last command to stay and wait for him to come back until the end of his life. Now imagine how happy he would have been to wake up and see Fry after all that time. Weeping over Seymour is the one thing that can unify a broken world. Did our list give you all the feels? Tell us in the comments.
Do you love me? Yes. Then love me the way I want you to.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.